So we're actually working right now on Anna's. We're just having her. I was having her brush her hair. Anna, look in the mirror. See, right now the camera's like a mirror, and so you have it split in the middle.
I don't know how to do this.
Well, I'm not sure if it looks that good in the middle. So
I've
been teaching Anna. Wait, if I look in the mirror for a second, it's like this is like our mirror. So if you go, I'm trying to teach Anna how to brush her hair, and it was one of my questions when I was doing the Anat Baniel method parents workshop. Like how to teach her how to brush her hair. Look in the mirror, Anna. Look in the mirror. Get closer. Can you see pretty well what your hair is doing? Yeah. Hold on. Look. So it's been like we've been practicing working on hair stuff for a really long time. I had to teach her how to brush like back, up. Like remember like this part here, Anna? I'm not sure you brush this part. I didn't really intend to record the brushing hair thing, but we do this before we record. It's not every time, but most of the time. And so look, if you brush one side, and then we can shape it, like you can kind of, like I want to teach her how to look in the mirror. And look in the mirror for a second. Do you see how this side is, I'm not sure if I like the style exactly, but see how it's kind of fluffier, not sticking up. And then this side is a little bit doing something different. And so can you, I can't see what I'm doing from here, actually. Yes. Here, lean over here for a second. So if you go like this, if you brush it up and back, and then you come back and then you start styling it, you can go like to the side. So I was trying to teach her how to do this. Look in the mirror. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm doing this any better. She needs to kind of wash her hair so it starts to behave. The difficulty right around the time. Well, right around the time it's like asking. Here's the thing. Look, let's get back to what we're trying to record here. Okay, so that's a whole other issue about that. You know, we should do a whole episode about brushing hair and how much you've done with that.
Having an issue with this?
Okay, yes, we're doing something else right now though. But I wanted to get
an issue with this.
We are having an issue with that. Right. Okay, so what? Tell them what this is.
This you're trying to compare the prices.
Of what? Show them.
Of the Digest Gold.
Yeah, so Anna takes this digestive enzyme, right?
This is 180.
Okay.
180.
Okay, so she takes this Digest Gold with probiotics in it, and I'm trying to have her participate in the reordering of it, which includes figuring out which item it is at Amazon, and then I thought this is a way to get her to learn math because she's super, super behind in math. She's basically like almost like a first grader in math. Yeah. So this is basically a number line where I calculated the cost in my laptop, like on a spreadsheet, of the cost per capsule of the different prices, and we didn't include the one from Whole Foods yesterday, but the ones that are just online at Amazon.
Can we please get a bigger? Can we buy the same big bottle since I finished?
Well, it depends on the price per bottle. Yes. We're going to purchase it based on price per bottle. I mean, price per capsule. So what I was having Anna do is I wrote. This is like a number line, and it's one of my theories with autism. Can you grab? I don't know if you have a pencil. Oh, here it is. So one of the theories is that I have is, and I know this is supported by the science, is that so people with autism, I don't remember if it's the white matter or the gray matter, but the thing that is the long distance connections is damaged and missing and reduced compared to average people, normal people, and the thing that either it's the white matter or the gray matter that is local is very overdeveloped at the expense of the long-term connections, which makes sense in what you actually see in person who has autism, how they are really, really ultra focused on something and have a huge amount of information and then have huge gaps and can't generalize and bring that information elsewhere because that the actual brain damage of autism is something, or whatever the conditions are, is that it damages one preferentially and it promotes the other at the expense. Okay,
40 is it's more expensive.
Well, we're going to do more and less in just a second. Yeah. That's why we came in here. So what happened was...
We're going to be able to buy this after we finish.
Yes, and you're going to succeed at this. It's just a matter of when. And so just give me a second. Let me set it up for people
and after
so we can finish.
We'll buy the same big bottle like that one.
If that's what... If it's not going to be the same if the cost per capsule is cheaper for a different amount.
It'll be the same one, right?
The same type of enzyme.
And it will be the same type of enzyme, and I can combine it with the little one I have.
Okay.
How do you feel about me combining them?
Oh, look, we bought this is the wrong one. Look, with ATP Pro. We bought the wrong one last time. That's funny. We didn't get the probiotic.
They had the same one at Whole Foods.
Yeah, we bought, but that's okay. All right, so...
it was the same one, but you didn't want to buy it again, so...
I didn't want to buy the one with ATP Pro. We want the one with probiotics in it. Hold for just a second. Stop for just a second. Pause for a second. Let me finish setting this up. So it's my theory that... Okay, so the reason that I have this theory is because there is a study of accidental death people, autistic people versus normal people, and I can pull it out if I have time and I can Google it and everything, but that actually was with autopsies of people that were normal and people had autism who just accidentally died in car accidents. It had nothing to do with them otherwise. And they found that that's how they figured this out, is they just did autopsies, they looked at their brains, and they noticed this distinction. So one of the things we're trying to always do is make long-distance connections. You'll see me, I'll do a video eventually about making things outwardly referential. So when she talks about one little area, a lot, like a video over and over again, you try to connect it to things in your life and things that you saw yesterday, and that makes you think this about the character, all in the present, to bring connections outward like this, like spokes of a wheel, to grow those long-distance connections instead of just having a person refer and talk to the same episode and you talk the same episode and you just retell the episode. You're just overgrowing that same area of focus at the expense of longer term connections. So I'm just now theorizing this actually connects with my child's deficit in math, in the sense that there's no really clear linear unbroken, normal spacing kind of line representation in her head. She has trouble doing anything regularly. And I don't know if I did a recording on this, but she didn't used to be able to count with her fingers. She would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. It would be like not even, or she'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be like the spacing and the number didn't go together. There wasn't like this. You couldn't even get her to step and do things on the rhythm.
Are you remembering?
I'm remembering because I'm trying to organize this. So hold for a second. Don't comment. Just pause for a second. Okay? Can you wait for a second? All right. So we're going to pick up our activity.
We're going to can we buy the same one? Or
right. We just talked about this. Can you hold for just a second? So I'm not sure she's totally aware when she repeats herself like that.
Sorry.
But anyway, so we are going to buy it. Yes.
The bigger bottle, like the same one.
Well, it depends on the price per capsule.
Okay.
That's what we're calculating.
Yes.
We're not just going to buy it mindlessly.
Okay.
So the idea is that she really struggles with regular spacing of anything. And by the way I eventually got her to count in an even way is to do it with pumping her arm like this, because she has better control over the movement of the fingers when they happen as the result of the arm. So she's able to count better like this. But even now when I say what's 3 plus 4, she'll go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll say plus 4, and she'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then notice how there's gaps in that line. So when you look at this, you don't see a number line. You see two numbers floating with numbers around it. It doesn't even make sense. Versus if I say 3, maybe in a normal child, they'd say, okay, plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She does not do that. She leaves gaps. Even if you go, what's 4 plus 1, she'll do this. That does not help you understand a number line, because there's a number that got skipped in the middle, which is 5. You know what I mean? Like, it's like she's not visualizing it. So I have these meter sticks all over the house for her to, when she's trying to compare things, to say where are things on the meter stick. When she originally started buying things with me, it was like 5 plus $4 shipping, and she wouldn't, again, she'd do this thing, what's 5 plus 4? 5 plus 4 is 12. I mean, it was like it didn't make any sense to her. This doesn't make sense unless you do it the same way every time, okay? Unless, otherwise it's just two numbers you add. There's no number line. Then when you actually ask her to go down and go up, she couldn't do it. This is why at the prior post, I think it was, or one before it, was about counting up and counting down using, and now recently counting down using dot to dots. Because I would be like, you know, we're at 45. What's one more that, what's 40, we've been doing this with her purchases. Okay, this toy is $7. Okay, but it's $2 or plus $1 shipping. What's $7 if you go up one? She'd be like, or it's 6. No, that's not. No, go up one. Okay, 9. Like, she wouldn't know what the number line is. She can't go up and down her head because there is no number line. It's just numbers that are all like this, separated from each other. This is my theory. So what we're doing is we're trying to do like a number line that has these. Actually basically started here 0, 1. In this case, it's price per capsule, so it's 1.00, 1.01, 1.02. But we originally started talking about like it's 5, 10, 15, 20 for her to number it. And she was, again, numbering them all cramped together. She was going 25, and they're all mashed together. They weren't even. So I'm starting to think that representing this line and having her do number lines and fit numbers into number lines is super critical. Okay, so that's why we're recording this right now. And so we were working on this morning with great difficulty.
I'm almost done with
yes,
it.
you are. Look, I was having her try to write the. She does not know to fill in between two numbers.
I know how to fill in this because
you're doing it right now,
yeah.
Which is great. So she was going. You know, I was going like, here's when you see 1, when you see 100, and then you see 105. You know there are numbers between that. She does not know this. Like if she looks at the thermometer, and I'm like, she has so much trouble even understanding the difference, what even in the middle means. It's taken us weeks or months or whatever to get her to stably understand what it means. Like we say, what's between 6 and 7, and she cannot say it. She doesn't know what it is, or you can't even say like what's if you go in the middle. What is that? Somewhere you say it's halfway. Half is the word is half, right? She doesn't have that either, so she's struggling because we know there's something between those numbers. So what we're doing is we're adding the numbers between the numbers, and it's really hard. And I was trying to get her to do that even spacing. I know it sounds really kind of like it's not important, but I just know, my God, this is really important because everybody has been supposedly teaching her math for years, like my husband and these other people that have been here, and they never she still can't count up and count down by 1 reliably. So you say, what's 1 more than 47? She'll be like 45. Or 49 or 40. It's not the next number. And if you say count down, she used up until when we started doing counting down using the dot to dots like this like a week ago. Up until then, she was almost always counting up even when you said count down. What's 1 less than? Okay, we're at 17. Go down 1. 18. No, go down 1. 22. 10. It's like she was guessing. She didn't know. And Nod always says guessing and knowing are 2 totally different things. She's definitely on the guessing spectrum right now. Okay, so she's about to get this, which is so exciting. All right, so I know you're about to understand this. So basically, we're trying to say which is the least expensive, the most expensive, and this is so exciting. She does not know what it means to say most expensive. She's 15. She's saying when I say what's the most expensive, she's picking one in the pack somewhere here. So she does not understand what most and least of anything are. It's like fundamental, so fundamental. If you don't have a number line, you don't understand what the maximum of anything is because they're all separate fragments. If I gave you like 3 different numbers floating in space with lines they're on and say, what's the biggest one? You're like, I don't know that one, because they're not lined up. Okay, so anyway, this is all my theory. I make up a lot of stuff, like the short-term memory theory or whatever. This is another theory. So here we go. So we're going to learn what most, and I hope this is quick because we're about 12 minutes right now. That's a setup. Okay. So the question is, okay, first of all, these are all of your numbers that you wrote. And let's put this so people at home can see this too. These are all the numbers that you wrote. Okay, so you got...
Two is not expensive?
Read the numbers, and I read the numbers in order.
Okay.
See, I remember how we wrote here on this arrow least to most. Remember this?
Yeah.
Least expensive to most expensive. See that arrow?
Capsule, per capsule.
Right. So what I want you to do is, and see, maybe we'll just record you doing this.
Right.
Okay, so read the numbers. So the numbers that we came up with for the price per capsule are, read these, 0.42.
0.42, 0.40, 0.47, 1.02404.
Yes.
1.50.
Oh, there's no 1.55. There's just
0.55.
Right, which is the same as 0.55.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so now those were not in order. That's what I got out of my laptop just from culling them from Amazon. But now you've put them in order. This is what it means to put something in order.
Yes.
Okay, in numbers. So when we put things in order in the alphabet, we usually are doing it by letters, right? Like the alphabet, like A, B, C, D, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like that, right?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Right? But this is the number version of it's like a number alphabet. It's an alphabet. Okay, so it's something like that, right? We should just call it that. It's an order that we agree on, right? And we were just doing something in the room where I was trying to say, let's go from 40 to 45, and she kept saying, I said, what's the first number? She's like, 42. I'm like, no, the first number after 40, if you go up, 42. And then like 43.44, she's skipping 1. The 1 wasn't there. It's so exciting. Now the 1's there, but this is like shocking to me.
Right. Now
anyway,
I got it all good.
Well, the question is, so now if you go in order of least to most, which means the one that's like 0 is the least,
right,
to the most, you're going to read them in this order. So
right.
read them in the order that they appear on your number line now.
Right.
Number lines are going to be really important around here now.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. What's the first number?
40.
What's the next number?
42.
What's this number?
47.
What's this number?
55.
What's this number?
104. 1.04.
Right, which if you're just saying it without the points, it's the same as saying 104 compared to these. But the point is that this is more.
Yes. Right?
This is more than this.
Right. And
okay, so, sorry, and then what?
I was going to say something.
Well, so the question is, which one is the most?
That was right.
Which one's the least expensive?
42.
Okay, so she has pointed out 42. See how it's in the middle of the cluster?
Right.
42 is okay. So
That's not right.
that's not right. But wait, what does it mean? Now, this is the point which I brought you guys in. I brought- Wait, so the question is, what does it mean to be the least?
Because it's less. 42 is less
42 is less than what?
than 40. Yeah.
42 is less than 40. Okay. So count. Can you grab a meter stick?
Yeah.
So one of my people is here, just arrived here, and this is why we have a meter stick. So 40. The less means that you get to it first when you're counting along an agreed upon line. So she's basically going to be counting.
Right.
Just meter stick. There's Tom. Can you grab a meter stick? We have like 4 of them in the house.
It's probably
Okay, so count it from 0 and tell me which is the first one you get to when you're counting up from
Right.
0. So count it from 0 and which one of these numbers do you get to first?
40, 42, 47, 45, 1.04.
Okay. Okay, what did you just read those in the order that you would hit them as you counted up.
Right.
Thanks. Right. So we usually use this as a model of like counting everything, but she just got it. So you counting from 0, you got to 40 first.
Yes.
That means that's the least
Yeah.
expensive.
Right.
Now, what's the most expensive?
What's the most expensive?
Okay, now what does it mean when they say it's the most expensive?
42 is the most expensive.
Okay, so
That's-
she's
that's
indicating.
right.
Wait. Most expensive of the group.
I don't
So
know what to do
wait. So
with
stop for a
these
second.
numbers.
I want everyone to see. So she's
Don't know.
pointing out that 42 is the most expensive, which is, as you can see, it's not at either end of the extreme. This is, So let's talk about what does it mean to be most expensive.
Right.
So counting from the bottom, the most expensive one is the one you get to after the furthest out. So start from a 0 and just count.
0,
Well, let's do it's 0.01.
0.01, 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 0.05.
And let's just make this numbers to make it easy. Just say
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, let's see. You see how there's no numbers here? We can skip
Right.
all the way to
Yes.
40. So there's 1 at 40, or
Okay.
0.40.
40,
40. There's 1 at 42.
1 at 42, 1 at 47, 1 at 45,
That's not 45. Your fingers.
40, 55.
55. And then there's one other one.
1.04.
Okay, so these. Well, wait. These. If you're gonna say it with 55, then you have to say 104. You can't say if you're gonna either that or you have to say 0.40, 0.42, 0.47, 0.55. Then you can say 1.04.
1.04.
Okay, so let's pick one of those systems and you do it again.
Right.
So it's let's say 0.40.
0.40. Point 0.42.
Yes, 0.42. That's good.
0.47.
Yes.
0.55.
Right, but there's one other one.
1.04.
Okay, yes. Now, which one did you get to last after counting?
Right here.
That's the most.
Yes, that's the most.
Okay, we just figured out what most means. Okay,
Right.
most means you get to it second. Now, I've done this
Yes.
before with her counting.
Yes, that was
We've
right.
never done it on a
That's
number
the right
line with a
number.
bigger
You
number
got
than
the
your
right
fingers.
number right.
Okay, this is great. So, what is the most expensive one of these capsules cost? I mean, per capsule costs.
It costs
This one. This is the most expensive. So, why don't you put a little arrow and put most expensive. So, we're putting a little, and we're labeling the. I knew she was going to get this.
Yay!
I mean, because it's easy, because all it is incrementing and decrementing. My understanding in computers, all they do is increment, decrement, and compare numbers for greater than, less than, or equal. So if she can't do that, she can't do any other math, because all of our math is based on that. Okay, so look here for a second, Anna. What's the least expensive?
Yeah.
Least expensive. That means the one you got to,
Least expensive is right here.
the one that you got to first when you were counting. Okay, put an arrow and put least expensive.
Yes.
Write that, least expensive.
Least. Yes, that was good. I got it right.
Expensive.
Expand.
And I got really frustrated with this, to be honest. It's so
Least
fundamental, but and it's I feel like what's it so hard? But then that's the thing that's going to pay off the most. The most fundamental deficit that you can identify
Least expensive.
is the most obvious one is the one that's really going to make the
Right.
biggest difference most of the time. Okay, so least expensive, right? So this is the one. This is the winner, 40.
Yes.
Okay, so here, circle up here. Put here least expensive right here,
Yes.
right here at the top. Okay, so
Yay.
now we're going to figure out which one corresponded to 0.4 per capsule, and that's the
Yay.
one we're going to buy.
Yes, that's the one we're gonna buy.
Okay, so that's an example of. So we're definitely going to work on number lines, and we're going to See,
That was good.
that was
Okay,
great.
we can look for it online.
We can look for it online now. Okay,
Yes,
so
let's do that.
okay, so wait, let's just review.
Wait,
Let's
do you wanna
review
do
one more
that now?
time. So
Do you want to
the
do it now?
least, yes, we're gonna do
Yes,
that. Let's
yeah.
say the least
The
is
least is
what you encounter first when you count. So whenever I've had her say, "What's more? Which one is bigger for the $5 or the $7 thing we're buying at eBay?"
right.
Then I'll have her count 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to the 5 first. 6, 7. That's more. But it's
Right.
like somehow when we did it, it's like it doesn't stick for bigger things. And even the concept didn't really stick. So
Right.
anyway, so I hope that's useful to people. And this should be our. We're going to be working on
Right.
number lines and greater than and less than a lot now, and we might try to make this part of the word of the day.
Yeah. Right.
Most means like the
Most,
biggest,
least,
highest.
most, the
I don't know.
highest,
Most is like the highest, biggest
biggest
thing. So if I
thing.
say who weighs the most in this house, I weigh the most
You weigh
because
the
I'm the
most.
heaviest person,
Right.
right? Who is the oldest person in this house? I'm the oldest person,
Yeah, you
right?
are.
Let's see. Who is the tallest person in this house? I'm not sure. I think he might be. Don't mention it. That person.
Right.
So there's a most for everything. Let's work on this. Let's make that the word of the day. Okay, I'm talking to the person here. We do word of the day now and try to really learn that word and use that
Right.
word a lot. So let's do that.
Yeah.
Most.
Well,
Most dark. Most tall. Most
Right.
whatever. Okay. All right. Thanks and bye, everybody.
bye.